if at all possible, if you are in the situation you like, to stay where you are. But you're willing to leave if you have to, right? Because if that's what gives you, if that's the thing that gives you that last piece of leverage to get that last chunk of money, then you do it. You don't want to do it, maybe. You don't like to do it, maybe, but you do it because you don't get a second chance at this. You can't say 3 or 4 years from now I get it. No, there may not be a contract at all at that point. And if you're lucky, it will be a much reduced contract because you are he may not be fungible, but he's definitely an expiring asset.
Tiffany, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I alluded to it a little bit earlier. Chris Jones is valuable to the Kansas City Chiefs, and not only his performance in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs that led them to be the champions. Once again, he's an emotional leader on the team. Like, that's what he brings. He motivates the entire team. And although the Chiefs front office seem lackadaisical, I know that they are concerned. They definitely want They definitely want to have him out there on the field. They definitely want him out there making plays. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something earlier than Chris Jones kind of mentioned earlier today, 8 weeks in, based upon Nick Bosa's deal today. I think we may see something earlier, and I agree with you. Yesterday's price is yesterday's price, and they're gonna have to come with the money for Chris.
Bo, I see. It looks like your scenery has changed there.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, the router just kept going down. So this is actually a real background. I am sitting in front of a lake, but I had to just grab my cell phone and run outside. Sorry for the technical troubles. So, but yeah, it is a beautiful lake.
It is very, very, very scenic looking there, my friend.
Absolutely.
I thought you were just flexing. I thought that's what was happening there.
No. I felt bad because my router kept dropping out, which is why I kept jumping in and out of the in and out of the screen.
I thought you were just going to give us an example of Chris Jones money there. It's like lake house.
I mean. I wish this was my lake house. I'm just staying here at the moment.
What's your thoughts on the Chris Jones holdout? Are we going to go to week 8? I mean, like you said, like now the number has to be, it's no longer Aaron Jones money. Now it's, Bosa money now. So,
yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long they can wait because their schedule does get harder after the first couple of weeks. Not that it's going to be a cakewalk, opening night, but they got to fix that because that is a key part of their defense, and their secondary isn't great, right? So they need that pressure up front. So if he's not there, a secondary that isn't elite already will get exposed. They need him. They need him on the field. They need that leadership. I imagine they get it done, but it is going to cost them more now.
Reggie, what's your thoughts? You get the final word on this.
I feel like it is going to cost them more because they didn't get it done in time. I do think there's issues when Chris Jones, Bosa comparison, and sometimes I see situations where I can see both sides of the situation, and this is one of those situations. I see both sides of this because Bosa's 25. All right, Chris Jones is pushing 30. That's a significant difference. That's like 100 years in football years. Like you're approaching a cliff and one's like going into their prime. So it's kind of like there's no way in the world if I'm pushing that contract right back across the table if Chris Jones comes to me with that, and I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. Another problem that Chris Jones is going to have is a guy named Patrick Mahomes. There's no Patrick Mahomes on the San Francisco 49ers. Patrick Mahomes covers up a lot for your team when you got a guy like that playing for you. So I feel like that's another situation that issue that Chris Jones is going to have. That being said, I'm going to piggyback off what Tiffany and other people have said. They need him. Like this defense isn't the same without Chris Jones on this team. So I feel like they're going to have to try to get something done. I wouldn't approach Bosa money, but I do think that because Bosa did get paid, it is going to be a little bit more than it would have been yesterday.
Reggie, which quarterback has the most passing yards opening day? The Raiders, Jimmy Porn, or the Saints, Gary Carter?
Goodness gracious. I kind of just want to say Jimmy just for that. Like just for that.
Right.
I want to root for the guy. But you know, it's I don't know. I when they traded Derek Carr, I remember talking about this earlier in this show where we talked about this. I thought it was a mistake. I don't think that they traded up to trade into Jimmy G from Derek Carr. Let me see the pieces around. So you got Olave with Derek Carr, right? We got Devontae Adams. Maybe this is hard because I want to say Derek Carr because I do like Olave, Juwan Johnson. I don't like the running backs for the Saints as much as I like Josh Jacob for the Raiders. So I feel like he's going to take some possessions, take some of those passing opportunities away. But I really think they're both kind of like meh guys. They're like very similar guys. It's just Derek Carr is a more healthy Jimmy G. He actually stays on the field and plays games. But it's like, I'm going to say Derek Carr only because there is no Josh Jacobs there in New Orleans to kind of take some of those passing opportunities away.
What do you think, Tiff?
I'm going to say Derek Carr because I believe in Sean Payton. That's the only reason. I believe in Sean Payton. I believe in his coaching abilities. And I believe that that's going to give him the edge. I don't believe that the Raiders was the best situation for Derek Carr.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, it's Derek Carr easily. And why I say that is he still has weapons where he's at. But the biggest thing is he's going to get more opportunities because he has a defense that can actually play defense now. When he was with the Raiders, they had a 30th or worse ranked defense the entire time he was there. I think his best year, they were like 26th. So that's not exactly elite. And he's not an elite quarterback. So he needs a defense that can get him the ball back if he makes a mistake. That's something the Saints will give him. Plus, he has a running back there that can be used in the passing game when Kamara comes back from his suspension. So he has a lot of tools he can play with and a defense that is going to create stops, get him the ball back. Obviously, health is an issue for Jimmy G, but even if we were assuming Jimmy G was, healthy all year, Derek Carr has an easier path to have better stats overall.
Bill?
Yeah. And while the Saints may not actually still have Sean Payton because now he's in Denver after taking a little time to get that sweet TV money.
I was going to try to jump in and save you there, Tiffany. Yeah, I didn't. I'll let you go. I thought about it though. I just want you to know I did think about it.
I was just trying to like move on from it. I wasn't going to say nothing.
See that's no. Bill will point it out.
No. Hold on. No, let's all come together. Wait. But his spirit animal, Pete Carmichael Jr., is still there, who spent 17 years with the team. So his ideas, his philosophy, his soul, if you will, is still there. And the person of Pete Carmichael, who is, I think, the third longest tenured offensive coach now in the NFL, like non-head coach, third offensive assistant in the NFL. So he's been there, as it says, since 2007, and spent a lot of years with Drew Brees. So he spent 3 years as a quarterback coach, has been offensive coordinator, now going into his 15th year as an offensive coordinator. He's worked with a bunch of quarterbacks, and he's helped every single one of those quarterbacks to improve. Look at what obviously he helped Drew Brees. When they had Dalton there, Andy Dalton had career highs in completion percentage, right? He was completing passes at 252 on 378 pass attempts for 2,870 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now, because it's Andy Dalton, those numbers are still kind of mid-ish, but still, he's doing this with Andy Dalton. And say what you want about Derek Carr. I don't care what you think of Derek Carr. I promise you he's going to be better than Andy Dalton was. So you're going to see, I think, a career year or close to a career year out of Derek Carr. He's worked wonders with a lot of even their young players. When they got Mr. Shaheed, who was an undrafted free agent out of Weber State, almost everybody said this guy's going to be a special teamer only. People thought, oh, yeah, he was at first. He was a terrific gunner, right? Fantastic. Speaking of people who may one day make more money than running backs. But he made the transition to now being essentially their number 3 receiver, at least in part due to the work that Pete Carmichael Jr. put in with him. And he's about to have a breakout season. Their tight end, Juwan Johnson, another guy who was seen as a depth piece, is now about to be a starting tight end who's going to have a breakout season. They have more talent than people realize. Just because these guys aren't name brand players yet, watch. And now they're sort of moving on from Michael Thomas a little bit, partially because of age and money, and partially because they've missed a lot of games. He hasn't been there, so they figure out how to piece it together without you. And unfortunately, as I say, NFL stands are not for long. They don't wait for you to come back. It's like, we can't play until Mike comes back. No, they've played without him, and now some of these young receivers are developing. So watch out for breakout years from third year tight end Juwan Johnson. Watch out for breakout year from Rashid Shaheed. And obviously, they have a budding superstar in Chris Olave. Derek Carr is going to have a very strong year. If you are drafting in the late rounds of your fantasy draft and you want to wait on a quarterback, wait on him, snag him, and thank me later.
Dave.
Well, I think I'm in the Derek Carr camp. I'm looking at the opponents, and you mentioned Denver. They're playing the Raiders, and I'm looking for Denver's defense to be a bit improved. Jimmy Garoppolo's averaged 193 yards passing a game. Part of the reason is because he hasn't finished games. So now we get into the health part of it. Derek Carr averaged 248 yards passing a game, and he's been available. So for those reasons, and they're playing the Titans, but I'm going to go with Carr having more passing yards.
Tiffeany, which running back has the most total yards on opening day? Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook, or Zeke Elliott?
Wow.
Okay. Now I can say that I believe in Sean Payton. So, absolutely 100% believe, that Josh Jacobs is going to have a better game than Saquon Barkley for the Giants. I know that Saquon Barkley just got paid. He's ready to go out there and show what he's worth. I don't want him to have a great game against my Cowboys, but historically we've had a tough time stopping the run, and I don't necessarily believe that he'll be stopped this week. So I definitely believe Saquon Barkley is going to have a good week, and we'll see how that goes. But definitely believe that this will be a good week for him, unfortunately, for me as a Cowboys fan.
Bo.
Yeah, I out of that list, I got to go with Saquon because he is the centerpiece of that offense. That team goes how Saquon goes. Basically, if he has a good day, they have a shot at winning. If it has to be Danny Dimes with no running game, it is about to be Danny Nichols. And, it ends up being a long day. So they really need that running game to be that centerpiece. And that's why, Saquon probably has the best day. The other offenses can move without it. And Zeke, I'm actually surprised he's on this list. He's probably going to be like the 30th best running back opening day.
Reggie.
Yes. This is gonna be my last question here, and I'm gonna get out of here after this. So, this is a 2-back question. When I look at this list, you listed 4 backs, but there's really 2 backs that are really here on this list, and that's Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. I would have to go just based on I would have to go Saquon Barkley because of the defense. I mean, I believe that I don't know. I kind of like the Cowboys defense, so I'm not gonna go hard on Tiffany's team like that. I love taking 2 to 3 gratuitous Cowboy shots a stream. I feel like I'm under my quota for the day. But it's kind of like I don't know. I for some reason around this time of the year I think fantasy in my head, right? Who am I going to take? Am I going to take Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs? I'm taking Saquon Barkley. Like I'm just going to take Saquon Barkley. And here I'm also going to take Saquon Barkley.
Well, Reggie, before you go, I got to ask you about your team, of course.
Okay.
Does Desmond have 100+ passing yards opening day? And what about Bijan and the Falcons against your division rival Panthers?
The Panthers, it should be interesting from the sense of seeing what we got. We got 2 very interesting rookies, right? We got Bryce on the Carolina side, kind of seeing how they all put it together. And then we got Bijan on our side and seeing how some of these skill players put it together. And for the first question of 100 yards passing, God, I hope so. I hope so. If the guy does not have 100 yards passing with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and even Bijan as a pass catching back on the field, how can I even run him out there for the next week? How can we run him out there in week 2? We got to try to see if Mariota hit up the Eagles and see if they cut him or something. See if we can get him back in town down here. But it's like Bijan, I hope pops off because I got him in 1 million fantasy leagues. So I really need Bijan to work out for me this year, guys.
All right, give us your final thoughts.
Final thoughts is it's time for football, guys. It's finally here, ladies and gents. NFL time. We're going to be watching some games here very soon, and I hope to be back with you guys in a couple of weeks. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, take care, Reggie.
All right, see you later, guys.
Take it easy, man.
All right. Desmond Ridder is another late quarterback option. He's going to have a better year than most people think. He also is a better athlete to build to play. 4.49 40. He's going to have at least 800 yards rushing this year.
But what do you think? Everybody's talking about how many yards rushing the quarterback is going to have this year. I mean, what do you think?
Say that again. Sorry, you cut out right there.
I said, everybody's talking about how many rushing yards the quarterback is going to get. But what do you think when you start talking about Desmond Ridder? Is he going to have a good day? Is it going to be?
I mean, I would hope he has a better than 100-yard day. I mean, that's I feel like a running back could get out there and throw for 100 yards. so yeah, no, I think it'll be all right. It's going to be an interesting game, but yeah, I mean, I would expect to see at least that out of him. Yeah, I mean, if he can't hit 100 yards, then they need to find someone else.
Let's see. What do you think, Tiffany? The Panthers, is this going to be a game where the Falcons show their mettle against their division rivals, or is this going to be that long, tough division of ne'er-do-wells?
Yeah, I definitely don't see this being an offensive battle here, and I don't know if I think Desmond will have over 100 yards, but I do suspect that the Falcons will take this one over the Panthers.
Dave?
Well, if he doesn't pass for 100 yards, he didn't complete the game. He
Mhm.
It's the way I'm looking at it. Either they yanked him or he got hurt or something happened where they had to go to an alternative. I mean, 100 yards is
It's nothing.
Maybe in the 1950s that was something. 100 passing yards today.
Really, you got to go pre-World War II for that.
So I would take it that for whatever reasons he didn't complete the game if he doesn't have 100 yards.
Okay. Tiffeany, who has the first turnover, the Cowboys or the Giants? Break down that opening game for us.
Sure. Absolutely 100%. The first turnover will be Danny Dimes. Trayvon Diggs, another young man that just got paid. He's amazing. The Giants have some very young corners that I don't trust. So I believe that Dak will certainly take advantage of that, and we'll see success and a more conservative offense from the Cowboys under McCarthy versus what Kellen Moore attempted to do.
I mean, we said attempted to do. They led the league in yardage. I mean, where I come from, that's good.
Well, yes, we led the league in yardage. Dak did have more points per game than any other quarterback. However, he did lead the league in turnovers. So, and that mattered to us in very close games. So,
I don't think you can put those on the OC though. Whatever. Who knows?
Bo, the Seahawks defense had the first shutout opening day. Talk about your Seahawks final 53 and preview the opening day against the Rams. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, so as far as pitching a shutout, no. This defense isn't there yet, especially when it comes to the front seven. So that secondary is going to be elite. They have a really good defense when it comes to the corners and safeties. They're set. That front seven, although better than last year, they were the 30th ranked defense. And I think they take a jump. I don't think they take a jump to the top 5, which is what you would need to shut any team out, regardless of how bad they are in the NFL. Shutouts are hard to come by. So I don't think they shut them out opening night. I do think they win handily, but I don't think it's a shutout. They still have, other guys on that roster that can move the ball around. But the things that I'm looking for out of the Seahawks, especially in this first game, is the front seven on the defense. Obviously they bring in Draymond Jones, Jaron Reed. So that helps that defensive line that was giving up almost 200 yards a game last year. And then you get Bobby Wagner back. They bring in a couple more linebackers. So it should be a significantly better defense. But I imagine they're probably going to be somewhere ranked in the 14th to 16th ranked defense in the league. And then, of course, when it comes to the Rams, Akers is probably going to get a lot of work because of the way that the Seahawks were against the run last year. The fact that they don't have Kupp also means they're going to lean on that running game a bit. They also have to make sure that they protect Stafford because Stetson Bennett isn't available for this game. He has a shoulder injury, so he doesn't get to suit up anyway. Higbee is probably the other thing for the Rams if they're going to try and stay in this game. They're going to do some tight end work. One, to help Stafford get the ball out quick, and two, because, again, last year, tight ends were able to really gash the Seahawks because they couldn't really stop anything that was in a seam or a slant across the field. So with that, their defense is still going to be decent. They still have Donald out there. But yeah, and then as their receiver, Van Jefferson, they're hoping for a lot of work out of him since Kupp is out. But I think the Hawks win this pretty easily.
I think we still got you there, don't we? I think we still got you there, Bo.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Bill, I'm going to let you talk about the Lions since Demetrius isn't here. And I know you know all these guys by a middle name basis. Bill, will the Lions tight end Sam Laporta catch his first TD this in the opening game? And will Lions running back Jamari score his first rushing TD?
I will give you a yes on Samuel Laporta, who is from Highland, Illinois, right? Got to see him a little bit in high school. And I will say no, though he'll come close for Jamar Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs is a guy who's going to unfortunately give way. So I'm a little cooler. We talked about fancy impact than some are because he's going to give way to probably David Montgomery when you get to like the 5-6 yard line on in, because Gibbs is not a guy, I won't say he's frail or anything like that, but he's not a guy that his best work is not done between the tackles. He's a space guy. But yes, I'm going to say yes on Laporta, and I'm going to say no on Gibbs.
Okay. Dave, which wide receiver catches Kenny Pickett's first passing TD? And how many sacks will the defense score on Brock?
Well, will it be a wide receiver catching that first touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett? You got Pat Freiermuth. That's the question. But if it's which wide receiver, they got a number of different weapons in there. Calvin Austin now in the slot. And then you have Deontay Johnson and you have George Pickens. And I think that they won't overplay it, but I think that there's an incentive for the Steelers, and Kenny Pickett, I think, will try to get a scoring touchdown to Deontay Johnson simply because he had nada last year. And he set like a record for the most number of receptions without a touchdown pass, and he dropped 2 in the end zone. So I would not be surprised if Kenny Pickett kind of tried to force one into Deontay Johnson. As far as the number of sacks that the Steelers defense will get on Brock Purdy, man, they have a lot of depth on the edge. You got T.J. Watt and you got Alex Highsmith, but when they're coming off, now you have Marcus Golden and then you have Nick Herbig, who he had several sacks in the preseason. Yeah. And again, that was preseason, but he is fast. Mm-hmm. And then on the interior of the line, Keanu Benton, you got Cam Hayward, and TJ Watt are neck and neck in terms of getting the all-time franchise sack record away from James Harrison. Yep. And that should happen sometime this year. So I'm just going to go with the round number of 3. I'm not going to go insane here. I think it's reasonable. San Francisco is a good team. I think that they're going to do what they can to keep, especially Watt. A lot of times he's double or triple teamed. Apparently, the refereeing crew that they have has tended to call holding calls, which could hurt San Francisco trying to defend Watt, but it could also hurt the Steelers because Bosa is going to be going up against Dan Moore. So that is scary because there was a tweet out earlier today. Alex Kozora from Steelers Depot, he showed a play of Nick Bosa just running over Alejandro Villanueva when he was the left tackle, and Mason Rudolph was in the game, and it was brutal. It was, and I hope Dan Moore can manage because he'll be the starting left tackle trying to protect Kenny Pickett's blind side. But I'll go with 3 for the Steelers. I think that's a reasonable target.
Captain, Villanueva.
That's right.
All right. This is a category we're going to call way too early to call. And I just want you to give me your top three in these categories. So I'm going to start with you, Dave. The top three quarterbacks in passing attempts.
Well, Tom Brady's not in the league anymore, right? So I would have started out with them. I'm just gonna swag it here. I'm gonna say Mahomes is one, Joe Burrow, and this was really for Demetrius, Jared Goff. Those are my three.
Bill, who's your three?
I'm going to agree on Burrow. I'm going to also go with Kirk Cousins and
that's a good one.
Yeah, the third one's hard. Burrow, Cousins.
See, that's why I only said three, because I knew
Right.
if I said
Right.
5. But
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm thinking of a team that's like trying to come back from behind. So I'm thinking like game script, how it'll play out. I'll go with Justin Herbert for the third.
Tiffeany.
She had to jump off.
She hopped off a few minutes ago.
Bo.
Yeah, so I got Burrow, Mahomes, and Herbert.
Okay.
Because all of those guys don't have amazing running games, and they tend to throw the ball a lot.
Okay, so let's go the other way, Bo. The top three in passing completions.
So I think that'll be Burrow, Mahomes, and then it was kind of a toss-up between Herbert and Cousins. Herbert will have more attempts, so he might have more completions, but Cousins tends to be a little more efficient, so they could actually end up about the same. But I'll stick with Herbert on it.
Bill, are you going to go with the same three guys?
I'm gonna stick with the same three guys. Yeah, I think all those guys are going to be accurate, so I don't think there's going to be too many incompletions.
Dave?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Mahomes, Burrow, and Goff.
Okay. Let's see. Next would be the top three with passing TDs. Does your list change, Dave?
Yeah, and this was hard, and Reggie actually brought up a good point about teams that are having to come up from behind. But I'll go with what I had here. I had Goff, Burrow, and then Josh Allen.
Who you got, Bill?
For passing touchdowns, I'll go with Mahomes. Stick with Burrow, and this will make Tiffany's not here, but she can listen to the recording or whatever later. Dak. I'll go with Dak Prescott for touchdown passes.
Who you
That including pick sixes?
Oh, zing.
Well, see, we get to that a little later there, Bo. But passing TDs, Bo.
Yeah, so I got Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow.
Okay, rushing TDs, Bo.
Rushing TDs, I'll have Lamar, Josh Allen, and Hurts.
Who you got, Dave?
I have Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Fields.
Who you got, Bill?
Hurts, Ritter, Fields.
All right.
There he is.
Since you gave there, Bo. Since you gave us a little preview there, Bo. Turnover, interceptions, fumble loss, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, total turnovers. I'm going to go with Dak at number one, especially because he came out and said he's not going to throw a bunch. So every team is going to be teeing off to try and make that not the thing. Josh Allen, he seems to be trending away where he's turning the ball over more. And then I'll go with Cousins. I think last year I mean, he tends to be efficient, but last year was one of his better years as far as turnovers. So I think he, takes a little bit of a step back.
Dave?
I have, and this is interceptions and fumbles combined, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I have Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, and Josh Allen.
Bill?
Okay, those are fun names. I will go with Anthony Richardson. I will go with let's see, Bryce Young, and what the heck, Josh Allen to cap it off.
Boy, nobody included C.J. Stroud in that list, huh? Okay.
I had AR as my fourth because I think he's going to throw a ton of picks.
Right, exactly. And I had Stroud as my fourth. I think he's going to play a fairly controlled game, but he'll probably have at least one fumble and maybe a couple of interceptions.
But if he starts throwing a ton of picks, do you think that they'll keep playing him?
You have to. You're rolling the rookie out. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like if they would have taken their veteran.
If Minshew starts, you can later pull him.
That's a
exactly
move. That's a bold
exactly
move, announcing him as a starter right from the get-go.
Well, it handcuffs you is the problem because there's no way, like you destroy the kid's confidence if you end up having to pull him later. That's why I never like it if you have a guy that needs some work, don't roll him out week one. Let him come in. Let him learn a little bit. Like even if you are going to have him start during the season, don't have it week one because, again, you can't pull him back off that field. So let your veteran start. Get him some NFL speed reps before you shoot him out in front of a group of guys that are going to be the best competition he's ever faced. I just don't see it working out. And in this category, he's going to throw a lot of picks. He's going to make a ton of mistakes. The only reason I don't think he's going to do the most is because, well, they're not going to be on offense a lot.
Well, I think Vegas has him in the top 3 in interceptions, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Sticking with the top 3. Bill, the top 3 tight ends in receiving yards.
Okay, that's fun. I'll stick with T.J. Hawkinson. He's been paid an enormous amount of money, and they're going to try to get their money's worth. And in a break back out season for Kyle Pitts, I think Kyle Pitts actually leads the Atlanta Falcons in receiving yards and receptions in this game. That leaves me with a third. That's going to be the hard one. It's always the third. Sorry. I'll go with a sort of surprise pick. I'll go Gerald Everett with a surprise pick.
Okay. Dave.
Well, I got some old names here, and actually one of them's hurt, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
I had Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and George Kittle.
You scared me for a second, David. I thought you were going to try out Ted Qualick. And
I was thinking Jimmy Graham was coming out.
Dave Casper with the ghost to the post.
So 3 tight ends in receiving yards. Bo?
Yes. So I got Kelce, Kittle, and Hawkinson. Now, granted, both those guys, when I started putting this together, weren't really hurt yet. But I still think that'll be true. None of them are season-ending type of injuries, and those teams use their tight ends a lot. So, although I did think Kyle Pitts, he's right there too.
I think I forgot a question here. The top 3 quarterbacks in rushing TDs. Oh
no, we did that.
We did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it would be the top 3 tight ends in receiving TDs.
We just did that too, didn't we? Did we just?
No,
we just did yards.
Oh, yards.
We did receiving yards.
Yeah.
This is touchdown.
Got it. Okay, we're good.
That being said, it's my same 3.
Okay. Bill?
I'll change it up slightly. I think Laporta gets a bunch of short touchdown receptions. So I think 2 is enough to put you in the top 3. So I think he'll be in the top 3. I think your friend and mine, David, Mr. Fryermuth, ties with 3, and I think our winner in the clubhouse, in for a penny, in for a pound. Sure, what the heck, T.J. Hawkinson. I don't know. I'm feeling wild.
Dave?
I have Kelsey, Kittle, and then I went in a different direction. I didn't go Pat Fryermuth. I went Darnell Washington.
Oh.
He didn't catch a lot of balls in college, but I tell you what a huge target. I mean, Fryermuth is a big target, but Darnell Washington is massive. And, so that's my pick. I almost went with Connor Hayward because technically he's a tight end. And they're going to be using him in a lot of different ways.
Right.
I'll stick with Darnell Washington.
Okay. Your top 3 running backs in rushing yards, Dave.
Ooh. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, unfortunately, and Dalvin Cook, because he's one of those guys that's trying to prove something. And rightfully so.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I went Henry and Chubb, but then I threw Saquon in there because, again, it's the main part of their offense.
Bill?
Jacobs, Chubb, and Saquon.
Now, who's your top 3 running backs in receiving yards, Bill?
That's a very different list. Okay.
Right?
So Christian McCaffrey, the rookie Bijan Robinson. I think he gets like 11 balls, and like 88 yards receiving. The third one's always the one that you get stuck on. Jeez, Bill. What the heck? I'm feeling wild. I'll go with the kid, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay. Bo?
Yeah, I got CMC for sure. Dalvin Cook, and then Eckler.
Okay. Who you got, Dave?
McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, and Josh Jacobs.
Now, your top 3 running backs, rushing touchdowns, Dave.
For some, I don't know why I did this. I put in is it Jerick McKinnon, Eckler, and Sam Perrine.
Samaje Perrine?
Or Perrine. Yeah. Thank you for that, Perrine.
Who you got, Bill?
Derrick Henry, though they're going to reduce his number of carries, he's still going to be the guy when they get it close in. And he doesn't have, not that Tannehill can't vulture some from him, but there's really nobody who carries the ball much in the goal line area for them.
Well, this is receiving TDs, right?
Oh, we're back to receiving TDs. Oh, scratch that then.
Well, no, I thought we were doing rushing TDs first.
I thought we did receiving TDs already.
This is rushing TDs.
I did receiving TDs. I'm sorry.
Oh, your list makes more sense now. Okay.
Yeah, rushing. We did
exactly.
we did receiving TDs first. Now we're on rushing TDs.
Right.
So, Bill, you're the first one with the rushing TD.
Right. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and give me Nick Chubb again. What that?
Okay, now, Dave, you're rushing TDs.
Barkley, Cook, and Jacobs.
Bo.
Yeah, I got Henry, Saquon, and Kenneth Walker because he was 4th in rushing touchdowns last year, and he missed 6 games.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. All right, Bo. Your top 3 running backs in total scoring, rushing, and receiving.
So I got Henry, Eckler, and CMC.
Who you got, Dave? This is total
Barkley,
scoring.
Cook, and Eckler.
Bill?
McCaffrey, Eckler, Barkley.
Okay. Bill, your top 3 wide receivers in total receiving yards.
Okay, that's fun also. Justin Jefferson. He's proving people he's still Justin Jefferson. If you ever began to doubt that he's Justin Jefferson. Chris Olave is going to have a monster year. If you got him in like the 3rd or 4th round of your fantasy draft, well done. And the 3rd one. It's always the 3rd that makes you think. What the heck? Stephon Diggs. He's been a squeaky wheel. He's going to get some grease.
Yep.
Bo? Receiving.
Yeah, so I got Diggs. I got AJ Brown. I think he's going to have another big year. And then I got Tyreek Hill, especially now that Waddle is injured. They're going to force feed him a lot, and he better hope he's as fast as he's been.
Okay, Dave, who you got?
Similar to both Bo and Bill. I got Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Now, Dave, receiving touchdowns, top 3 wide receiver.
I have Diggs, Amon-Ross Brown, and Jamar Chase.
Who was your second one, Dave?
Amon-Ross Brown.
Amon-Ross St. Brown is who he's trying to say.
Yeah. Just call him the sun god. You'll be all right.
Okay, who you got, Bill?
I'm going to agree on Amon-Ross St. Brown. He also has, like, his brothers have, Equiminius and what's the other one? Oh, it'll come back to me. But I love the St. Brown family. And then Justin Jefferson is still going to be catching touchdown passes. And for the 3rd one, I'll go back to Stephon Diggs. Squeaky wheel grease.
Bo?
Yeah, I got St. Brown, I got Diggs, and Tyler Lockett.
All 3 of us got St. Brown.
Mm-hmm. He's going to also have a monster year. If you drafted him in the 3rd round of your fantasy draft, once again, well done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bo, your top 3 wide receivers, total scoring, receiving, rushing, 2 point.
Yeah, so that one I will have. Yeah, so for that one I'll have St. Brown, I'll have Jamar Chase, and Lockett.
Dave?
I have Diggs, Chase, and Devontae Adams.
Bill?
Diggs, still Justin Jefferson. And the only one that will change for me is Tyreek Hill, who I think gets a rushing touchdown.
Bill?
Yeah, Lockett usually ends up with three of them because those sweeps are technically a rush.
Yep.
Yeah. Bill, your defensive rookie of the year.
My defensive rookie of the year is Christian Gonzalez of the New England Patriots.
Okay. Bo?
Jalen Carter.
Dave?
Well, I'm going to be a homer on this one. I was going back and forth between Keanu Benton on the defensive line and Joey Porter Jr. And then you got Nick Herbig. I mean, they got a couple good guys, so they may actually eat up the votes among them and lose out. But I'm going to go with Benton because I think that Benton has a chance to be playing a little bit more than Herbig since he's going to be behind Watt and Highsmith. And then you got Marcus Golden too. And then and Joey Porter's a little handsy. and I'm just not sure how he's going to, how the officials are going to be working with him on
working
that.
with him. I like the term working with him.
Deano Benton is my choice.
Yeah. All right, Dave, your offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, there was a number of people. You know, there's Zay Flowers, there's CJ Stroud. I like Darnell Washington because he's a Steeler, but I went with the running back Bijan, and you know, it sounds like everybody's been talking. He's the real deal. You know he's picked very high, and they're expecting big things from him. And so if he produces, I think that he'll get the offensive rookie of the year.
Bill?
So I think this player gets sort of slow out of the gate, but due to injury, he goes from being sort of a depth piece to the centerpiece of a passing offense. Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, San Diego.
Okay.
Who you got, Bo?
I'm going with JSN just because he's landing in a system that will use him a lot. He will get a ton of targets, and he will actually probably pull some targets from DK. So he should end up with. I would bet that he ends up somewhere in that 750-yard range this year.
Okay. Let's see. That means what? Dave, you went homer on the defense, and Bo, you went homer on the offense. Okay.
I did.
Okay, your coach of the year there, Dave. I mean, Bo.
Oh, Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell gets it this year. He's built a nice program. He's a guy that you like want to root for. He's like just a good dude. I think if they can get into the playoffs and do something there, I think he's a lock for the coach of the year.
Well, you guys are all making friends with Demetrius while he's gone, huh? Okay. Dave.
Well, I'm going to sound like a homer, but I think Mike Tomlin, he's been overlooked a couple of times where he really deserved a coach of the year, especially when they lost Ben Roethlisberger and they managed to hang in there with like Duck Hodges. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. And I really think he's been overlooked. And I caveated is if the Steelers get into the playoffs, I know that pundits are now starting to get on the bandwagon, but before a couple weeks ago, nobody was seeing Pittsburgh as doing very much and not making the playoffs, you know, because they're in a tough division. But if he's able to keep this team together, he helps Kenny Pickett in his second year as a quarterback get into the playoffs, then I'm hoping that they don't overlook. There's a lot of other deserving guys that I think would be in there, and I'm just, for me, it's a makeup call is the way I look at it.
Bill.
Yeah, I think the two contenders for me are both in the South, NFC South and AFC South, but I'm going to go, since he's the sort of more unexpected winner, with Arthur Smith. I think turns around the Falcons and really develops a lot of that young talent. Especially, as someone said, if Bijan ends up being Rookie of the Year, Desmond Ridder has a breakout season, Kyle Pitts goes back to being a top 4 or 5 type tight end, they're going to win a bunch of games in a rather weak division.
Bill, who plays in the NFC Championship game?
Okay. I think the Eagles get back there, but they're facing, instead of the 49ers, they're facing the Seattle Seahawks.
Bo, NFC Championship game.
I think it's actually a rematch. I think it's going to be Eagles-Niners.
Dave?
I went with the rematch. I think in the 49ers, now that with the signing of Nick Bosa, they're going to have a sense of urgency. And because it's TikTok whenever they're going to have to start discarding some folks. So I'm going with a repeat.
Dave, what about the AFC?
I'm seeing Buffalo in there this year, and again, it's one of those things of where, hey, when are they going to do it? You know, they've had some pieces in place, and so I'm looking for Buffalo. And then until somebody can knock off Kansas City, I'm sticking with Kansas City. So Kansas City, Buffalo.
Bo.
I got KC and the Ravens.
Okay. Bill.
So apparently someone's been looking at my notes. Yes, I have the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
All right, guys, let's get to our predictions here. Starting with tomorrow night's game. These odds are all brought to you by DraftKings. Should get a plug from them. If you're listening, hey, Cash App. Where is that at? Yeah, okay. Anyway, okay. So, Thursday night game. We're going to start the Lions over or under 6.5 points versus the Chiefs, and over or under 53.5. Bill.
Over on the total, and the Lions may actually win this thing outright, especially with the injury problems the Chiefs are having, but they definitely don't lose by 6.5 or more. I mean, that I was shocked. The Lions 6.5, that feels like
right
money. That feels like, maybe not once again, go get grandma's insulin money, but but money, anybody you don't absolutely need, you may want to put down on that. 6.5.
Yeah, it seems large.
Yeah.
Bo?
Yeah, so I actually take the Lions to win this outright because of the injuries and the holdout. And then I'll go the over, though. The Lions don't have a great defense. Obviously, KC without Jones isn't a great defense either.
Yep.
So it's going to be a track meet. And but there's no way there's a 6.5 point spread. So even if the Lions lost, they definitely cover. But I'm taking the Lions to win.
Okay. Dave?
I have the Lions and the points, but I'm going to take the under on this one. First game of the season, they may be working out some kinks. I don't know how much their first teams really played in the preseason, so I'll take the under on the points.
Now that's a brave man.
Let's see the Sunday games. 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast, of course. Dave, the Texans plus 10.5 over against the Ratbirds, and the over under is 43.5.
Talk about a lot of points, but the Texans' offensive line is in disarray, and it's a lot of points, but I'm thinking maybe even the Ratbirds have a defensive score. So I'm going to take the Ratbirds, and I'm going to take the over on the. I don't know if the Texans are going to score that much. I think I'm going to take the under. I'm actually going to take the under on that, but I'm going to have the Ravens, even though they got to make up 10 points.
Who you got, Bill?
I think the hook proves to be too much. I think that they lose by 10. So 10.5 is just too far to me. And
no, it's an even 10.
It's an even 10.
I'm
taking the money line on it.
Oh God, it's an even 10. I thought it was 10 with the hook. Oh, okay. Now I got to really shoot.
No, the over under has the hook.
Oh, that's what the hook is. The hook
Yep.
is 43.5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I thought I heard a half somewhere. Okay. Oh, that's inconvenient. So 43.5. Let's say that 17, and then date of scores. So though it scares me, I'm going to go with the over, but barely. I think they get to 44 just to barely get there. And then 10 even. I hate that. 10 and a half, I would know what to do. Okay, I'm going to go Texans, but I don't like it.
Bo.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the over on the points. 10 is rough, being an even 10. I'm actually gonna go with Vegas's 10. I would take it at 10.
A push.
Yep, I would.
And the over-under?
I would go over. I think they end up with like a pick six to help get them over the top, and the Ravens do. So I think it's kind of the same thing where I think they get 44, right? So I think they barely get the over, but I think the Texans lose by 10.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's see. Here's another one with no hooks. Bo, the Jaguars over or under -5 at the Colts, and the over or under is 45.
So I'm going to go over. I think the Jags win by a touchdown, but I'm going to go under on total points. I think the Colts make a ton of mistakes. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a sloppy game. So it won't be high scoring, but the Jags definitely win by more than 5.
Bill.
Again, someone's looking at my notes. I literally feel like those are exactly the words I was going to use. It's a sloppy, messy couple of just fumbles. There's interceptions. There's dropped punts. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, it's going to be a messy game. But yeah, so fairly low scoring. But yes, at least they get at least a touchdown over the Colts.
What do you think, Dave?
Again, I mean, the Colts, they had the problem with the running back, and they resolved it. But again, there's some underlying issues there, and so I'm going to take the Jaguars, and I'll go over on the points.
Okay, here's one for you, Bill. I'm going to let you go first so you can't look at your notes here. The Cardinals +7 against the Commanders, and the over-under is 39.
The over-under is, you said 39?
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm taking the over. I think the Commanders score quite a bit. Coming out party for Sam Howell. And allow me to reintroduce myself if you're Scary Terry as well. I think he goes Newts. I think he has like 128 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
McLaurin's good.
Yeah, I think that his partner in crime, the one that came there from Carolina. Oh my God, can't remember his name. Also chips them for about 100 and another touchdown. I think they have a really big game against what might be the worst team in the NFL. So, Commanders cover and the over.
Dave.
Josh Dobbs may be starting for the Cardinals.
That's who they've named.
Yes, it is going to be former
great guy. I think I hope that someday he's actually coaching in the NFL
or working at NASA.
But he's not a starting quarterback. I just don't see it. So I'm taking the Commanders, and I'm taking I kind of debated the over or under because I think the Cardinals may be horrible this year, but I'll take the over. I mean, 39 points is,
the Commanders may score 38 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bo?
I take the Commanders to cover and the over.
Okay, let's see. The Vikings +6. The Bucks +6 are playing the Vikings, and the over-under is 45.5, Bo.
So I don't think the Bucks cover, but I'm taking the under. I don't trust. I don't trust Mayfield to. He's so inconsistent. Like you don't know. So I'm going to take the Vikings in a sizable win, but yeah, they don't cover. Or I mean, they don't. They're the under. Yeah.
Dave.
Well, because of Mayfield's inconsistency, and the Vikings seemed to like a lot of one-score games last year, right? I'm going to take the points with the Bucks, and I'll take the over.
Okay. The Vikings should have a better defense this year, though.
Well, they lost some pieces. I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Bill.
I say the Vikings win, but do not cover, and I will take the numbers right about right. I hate this. Okay, but let's see. I'll hold my nose and take the under, but it scares me.
Okay. Let's see. The 49ers minus, they're giving the Steelers 2.5, Bill, and the over is 40.5.
Oh, I'm taking the over all day long. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an easy over. I think by at least 3 points they get past that. It's 2 or 2 and a hook.
2.5, yeah.
It's 2.5. Okay, 2. That helps me a little. I'm going to say that they do not cover. I think it's a nail biter. 1 point, maybe 1.2 point game.
What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over and the Niners to cover.
Okay. Dave.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I believe that the 49ers regular kicker has an injury, so they
He does.
assigned Matthew Wright to their practice squad. So he may be the kicker.
Yep.
He's familiar with Acrisure Stadium. But I like Chris Boswell. And this game for the Steelers, this is going to help. It's a good barometer for the Steelers, whether their progress – is it real? Do we have reason for optimism, or is it a mirage? and I think we're going to find out right away. But I'm going to take the Steelers with the points. You know, hey, I'm never going to give away points, right?
Right.
All right, here we go, Dave. The interdivisional game, the Bungles plus 2.5. Against the Clowns, the over-under is 47.5.
Yeah, you know what I don't understand here is the Bengals getting 2.5 points. I mean, are they saying that Joe Burrow may not play because of his injury?
No, the Bengals are
giving 2.5 points.
Oh, they're giving 2.5.
Yeah, plus 2.5.
I think that the Bengals will cover. But I'm going to go with the under on the points. I think the Bengals can score a lot of points. But again, first game of the season, I'm going to take the under.
Okay. So you think the Bengals are going to be able to stop somebody, huh?
Yeah, but you have Bengals plus 2.5. Like the Texans were plus 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Texans were on the road. The Clowns are at home.
So they're basically saying it's an even game.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because 3 points is, your home field advantage is -3.
Yeah, but I mean, they're saying that wow, I'm surprised at that.
It also this feels like free money again, but often those are traps. But does that feel like free money?
Well, are you taking grandma's insulin money for this one or what?
I mean, I would be tempted. Maybe she can go into without insulin. I just feel like 2.5 is so very low. I feel compelled almost at a metaphysical level to take the Bengals, and I'm going to go with the over. I think they barely cover the over, but I think they hit the over.
Both.
Yeah, I got the Bengals and the over. The Steelers are going to score points because the Bengals defense the Browns. That Bengals defense isn't very it's not good. They lost their corners. That defense is not going to be great. But Joe Burrow is going to score points, so I think they get the over. I actually have Bengals winning this. So I mean, 2.5 points was a surprise.
Yep.
Okay. Basically, the Titans in a pick 'em, but Titans over under 3 against the Saints, and the over under is 41. Both.
Yeah, so I got the Saints over and over. So I have over the 3 and I have over the 41. The only caution that I have with that is how much work Derrick Henry gets. If he gets allowed to chew up the clock a lot, then they may not hit the over. But Saints cover, and I'm taking the over.
Hey.
I'm the same. Saints cover, and I'm taking the over.
Okay. Bill.
I'll have what he's having.
Okay. Bill, the Panthers over, under. They're actually giving 3.5 to the Falcons.
Oh, I'll take that gladly. Thank you. I'll take the Falcons.
And the over under is.
Oh, and what was the over under?
39.5.
Oh, I'll take 2. I'll take 2 of those. So yes, I'll take the Falcons and I'll take the over.
Both.
Same. Yep. Over and over.
Dave?
Yeah, what I'm interested in is how the Falcons look, because in that third game they did not play their starters at all in their third preseason game. So I'm just curious as to how they look. But I'm taking the Falcons and the over.
Okay, the afternoon games. The Eagles minus 3.5 at the Patriots. Over under 44.5. Dave.
Bill Belichick is all, if you give him time to prepare, man, he's a tough out. And, but the Eagles are I think their roster is just much better overall. So I debated, kind of went back and forth, but I'm going to go with the Eagles giving up the 3.5 points. That they're going to manage that and do it.
Who you got, Bill?
I mean, yes, the Eagles have maybe in terms of depth of talent, maybe the best roster overall in the entire league. And what was the number again in terms of over under?
44.5.
Yeah, I'll take the over as well. So Eagles in the over.
Bo?
Yeah, so I'm taking the Eagles. Minus 3.5 seems like a no-brainer over the Pats. That being said, I'm going to take the under just because a Belichick defense does find ways to get stops. And so I'm going to take the Eagles to cover, but the under on the points.
Now, here's where Grandma might have to go into instant shock. But what do you say here, Bo? The Rams over. They're getting 5.5 points, and the over under is 46.5.
So this is one where the Hawks should cover no problem. That being said, they really struggle against the Rams, and they always have.
That's what you say when you call your bookie, right? You know, not this Hawk.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah, I mean,
I should put up the title for the car in the house, but
so I think in this one, because you do still have Stafford out there, Donald's still going to be on the field. Nobody's really hurt yet outside of Cup. They're hoping Van Jefferson can be the guy. I'm going to go with the Hawks win, don't cover, and I'm taking the under.
Whoa, okay. All right. This is history talking, right?
It sure is.
Go ahead, Dave.
I have the Seahawks covering. I just don't know how much the Rams are going to be improved this year, but I'm taking the under.
Bill.
I understand the paranoia and I embrace it, but since I have a little distance from it, unlike our friend in the Northwest, I will take the Hawks to not only win but cover. And the over/under was what was the number again? 40. What?
46.5.
Ooh, that's a tall mountain to climb. I'll go under.
Okay, Bill. The Dolphins against the Chargers. The Dolphins are actually getting 3 points, the normal. The Chargers over under is 51.
Okay, I think the Dolphins do not cover, and the 51. I wanted to go over because I think this game will be kind of a track meet, but that's a lot of points. I will swallow hard and screw my courage to the sticking post, as Lady Macbeth said in Act 1, Scene 2. And I will take the over, even though that's a big number.
Dave.
I'll take the Dolphins in the points and the under.
What you got, Bo?
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins and the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Okay. The Packers, wow, +1 versus the Bears, and the over/under is 43. Bo.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Pack to win. I'm taking the Bears to win, and then I'm going to take the over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bill?
I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. I will take the Packers. I think they may literally win the game by 1.
Exactly.
This is a tough one, but I'll take the Packers and 43 points, no hook, right?
Correct.
No.
God, they're so good. That's probably exactly how many points are going to be scored. I would like to push on both, please, but I guess I will take the over. I don't like it at all. I would really like to push, but I think 43 points is the number. But I'll take the over since push is not an option.
Who you got, Dave?
I'm in the love boat.
Okay.
and I'll take the over.
All right. The Raiders, plus they're giving the Broncos 4.5, and the over/under is 41. Bill.
The Broncos may well win, the Raiders may well win, but I don't think they cover. I think the Broncos are improved. And 41.5 was the line?
No, 41. No hook.
Ah, yes, thank you. Then I will take the over.
Okay. Dave?
I'm still waiting for Jimmy Garoppolo to prove me wrong. I'll take the Broncos and the over.
Bo?
Yes, I'm going to take the Broncos and the under, just because everything we've seen out of Russ during the preseason was not impressive. But I also don't know that Jimmy G is going to make it a whole game. So, we could very well end up with a really low scoring game. So I'm taking the Broncos and the under.
Okay, our Sunday night game, Bo, the Cowboys, over under -3 at the Giants, and the over under is 46.5.
Yeah, so it's it's early in the year, so the Cowboys still remember how to play football. I'm going to go with the Cowboys cover, but it's under.
Dave?
Yeah, I'm not confident in the Giants quarterback, and I don't know that Saquon Barkley can do it all himself without a adequate quarterback, and I'm just not convinced yet. So I'm going to take the Cowboys and the over.
Ooh, okay. Bill?
Once again, I'll have what he's having.
Okay, let's see. Did I get you, Bo?
Yep.
Yep, you got everybody.
Okay, that leaves only the Monday night game, which is another interdivision game. And hey, I guess this is going to kind of be the barometer as far as the experts are concerned. So, Bill, let's start with you. The over-under is the Bills giving the Jets 2.5, and the over-under is 46. No hook.
Which is no hook. So 46 no hook means I can take the over and will. And then you said that the
2.5.
Oh, 2.5. God, that's about right, isn't it? But I will say that they do not cover, so I'll take the Jets. I will say that the Bills do not cover.
Dave?
Yeah, this is real interesting. Does Aaron Rodgers, has Father Time caught up yet? I'm going with the Bills because of what I said earlier. They have to have a sense of urgency. The clock's been running, and they need to do it Monday night. Now, Aaron Rodgers, Showtime. He's going to be a tough one to beat, but I'm still taking the Bills, and I'll put the over on a Monday night game where everybody's eyeballs is on it.
Ooh, okay. Who's that leave?
Yep.
Bo.
Yep. So I got the Bills and the over.
Okay. Just to throw one in here, who gains? Who has the first receiving TD? Garrett or Stephon? Bo?
It's got to be Stephon Diggs because of just all of the off-season noise. They're going to force feed him one just to get him to shut up, I think.
Are you having what Bo was having, Bill?
So it was of all of the receivers, or
No, just between those two, who has the first touchdown?
Yeah,
Diggs or Wilson?
yeah, I'll agree that it's Diggs.
It's a threesome.
Would be Dave?
It's a threesome.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, stranger things have happened. Okay. Let's see. Final thoughts for the evening, guys. A great first season show. And let's see, Bill. Let's have your final thoughts.
Certainly. Well, on this day, Serena Jamaica Williams won her third U.S. Open in the year 2008. In her career, she won 32 major titles so far. And of course, she hasn't officially retired. She's 41, but she hasn't retired. But 32 majors, 17 in singles, 13 in women's doubles, 2 majors in mixed doubles. Born in Saginaw, Michigan, though we obviously associate her with Compton. She actually grew up in southeast central Los Angeles. She started playing at a high level while she was still quite literally in elementary school. And by the time she was in middle school, she was beating adults regularly, men and women, quite frankly. And by the time she was in her late teens, it was clear she was going to be one of the greats. And by the time she was in her middle 20s, she was one of the greats. And by the time she was in her early 30s, it was widely considered that she might be the greatest. And now, as she goes into the sunset or whatever term you want to use of her career, now a mother, now a person with a lot of other interests in a lot of other areas. If she never plays at a high level again, and I'm not, people have lost a lot of money doubting her, but yeah, I mean, it's just true. But she does intend to retire. She's announced her intention to retire. So if this is indeed the end, if she doesn't continue to play after this season, she played her final match just a couple of days ago, 3 days ago at the U.S. Open. And she went down 7-5, 6-7, 6-1 to Aja Tomljanovic in a third round match. And you could see all of the aspects of what made her great, and also what occasionally, was her undoing, even in the peak of her career. She's a person that committed always fully to going after it, right? She made very few. What's the old saying? If you're going to make mistakes, make them at 100 miles an hour. She made them at like 118 miles an hour, I think. I think her serve clocked in at one point at her peak. She always went for winners. She always went for lines. Sometimes to a fault. She would have foot faults. She would have line faults. Unforced errors, and like Brett Favre. All that greatness and all that risk and all that reward. She played big tennis, right? I mean, when she comes into the game, people like Martina Hingis and Monica Seles and Jennifer Capriati are sort of the dominant players at the time, and they thought they were playing aggressively till they saw Venus and Serena and realized, oh no, that's we weren't playing aggressively. That's aggressive, and then Serena, like I said, managed to take all of that talent and eventually refine it to the point where she just dominated the game. So if we have seen the last of her in this version of herself, in this great version of herself, I will long remember and not soon forget what I saw.
Wow, the sun's going down out there, huh, brother?
It is. I'm in the shadow realm out here now.
Here's your final thoughts there, bro.
Yeah, so
man, we hope to have you back a lot during football season and whatnot. So, hey, off into the sunset. No.
That's right. Yeah, no. So my final thought on this tonight is, Sean Payton is back out there talking about his quarterback in the press, telling him to stop kissing babies and, he's not running for office, stuff like that. All the groundwork that Sean Payton is laying down sure makes it look like he has plans to bench Wilson sometime this year, even if it's just for part of a game to make a point. He seems to really be on one for Wilson. So don't be surprised if you see him riding the bench at some point during this year.
Wow. And what are the repercussions of that?
It wasn't. I think he gets away with it because he didn't select that quarterback. He wasn't the coaching, part of the coaching regime that brought him in. So I think they kind of gave him the keys because of how bad last year was, and he likes their backup. So I don't know. Wilson's going to be their guy because they're giving him all the money, but there very, very well may be a point in this season where they set him on the bench just to prove a point.
Okay. When that happens, I'm going to have an episode called "I Told You So." Dave, take us home, man.
All right. Well, I have a similar theme to Bill. The U.S. Open is ongoing right now, and my thought went to Martina Navratilova. Won 18 singles majors, 31 doubles, 10 mixed doubles, 59 major titles. She was number one for 332 weeks. But this date, today, September 6th, this day in 1975, Martina Navratilova was playing the U.S. Open in New York City, and she requested political asylum from her native country, the former Czechoslovakia. And she became a U.S. citizen. But then over the years, she became very politically active. She was a critic of government policy. She was a social activist. And I think I'm trying to think of the interviewer. It wasn't Connie Chung, but she was being interviewed on national television and being criticized because she was being critical of the United States. And basically the message to her was, well, why are you being so critical to the country that has given you so much? And her response to that criticism was, quote, "And I'm giving back. This is why I speak out. When I see something that I don't like, I'm going to speak out because you can do that here. And again, I feel there are too many things happening that are taking our rights away," unquote. So that was basically Martina's response to this criticism. And so the reason I wanted to bring this up as my final thought, it's about the freedom of movement. She came from a country where she couldn't move, and then she had no choice but to request asylum when she came to the United States. Right. And today, there's more freedom of movement around the world than there's ever been at any point in history. In the United States, despite its flaws, it came in with flaws. It remains to have flaws, but this is the single country with the most people that immigrate here. And I don't know of any other country where there's a deficit between Americans emigrating to that country as opposed to their citizens coming to the U.S. And
except maybe Canada.
Maybe Canada. I'm not so sure about that because there's a lot of Canadians that
there's a decent number of the U.S.
But I think Martina she did regain her she got dual citizenship, but she said no, she's an American. Although she wanted also the citizenship of her birth right in the Czech Republic now. But to me, she's a great American, and that's my final thought. I mean, despite our flaws, it still shows that we're a land of opportunity, and that's just measured by the number of people that come here.
Yeah, a fun fact about Martina Navratilova. She got away with being sort of out of shape early in her career. She didn't really know how to eat and how to work out. And she actually moved to my hometown for a while to work out with Nancy Lieberman, now Nancy Lieberman Klein, the basketball pioneer, and even lived with her for a while in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Was she the Connecticut coach, Nancy Lieberman?
She never. I mean, oh, you mean in the WNBA? Yes, she coached a couple of different teams in the WNBA and was a great player herself in women's basketball leagues that predated the WNBA. I think a two-time Olympian, also a 4-time All-American from, I think, Far Rockaway is where she's from, but came down to Old Dominion. I watched a lot of Old Dominion basketball. She played with Janet Tremblay and Ing Nissen and Ann Donovan and Nancy Rhonda Rompola and Angela Kottman. Yeah, I remember those Old Dominion teams that she was on that were just dominant, coached by Marianne Stanley.
All right, guys. Well, hey, this time tomorrow night, we will be enjoying the first Thursday night game. I hope everybody has Amazon Prime. And hey, I look forward to talking to everybody next week, and we'll see how far we were off on our predictions, or who got them right and who got them wrong. So have a great night, everyone. We'll see.
All right.
Yes. You kept track of all the picks. We can see who came out on top.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to replay them back to you. All right, guys. You have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Take care, guys. Ciao.
Yep.